Have you ever wondered why a man you really like seems careful, almost hesitant, when it comes to love? He's there, he's interested, but somehow he's not rushing things. He doesn't overwhelm you with words, and he doesn't push for labels or promises too soon. At first, you might think he's not serious, or worse, that he's losing interest. But what if the truth is far more meaningful? What if his hesitation isn't a lack of feelings, but a sign that he values something much deeper than fleeting romance? In a world where instant connections and rushed relationships are so common, patience is rare. And for a man who's genuinely invested, being slow and deliberate isn't a flaw, it's a strength. It's a quiet, often unnoticed way of showing that he's thinking about the long term, about emotional safety, about creating a love that actually lasts. He doesn't want to make promises he can't keep. He doesn't want to hurt you. And he certainly doesn't want to risk turning something potentially beautiful into something fragile. Every action he takes is measured, thoughtful, and intentional, even if it seems subtle or almost invisible at first. This video is going to reveal 15 signs that he's afraid to rush love, and understanding them could completely change the way you see his behavior. From the way he communicates, to the way he observes your reactions, to the way he prioritizes emotional connection over impulsive decisions, each sign is a piece of the puzzle that tells a bigger story. He's serious, he's patient, and is willing to invest time to make the relationship meaningful. You'll discover why he takes his time before making commitments, why he prefers deep conversations over small talk, why he's cautious about physical intimacy, and why he waits for the right moment to introduce you to the people who matter most in his life. You'll start to notice patterns you might have overlooked, small gestures, thoughtful questions, consistent behaviors that all point to the same thing. He's moving carefully because he values you, the relationship, and the future you could share together. So, if you've been wondering whether his slow pace is disinterest or a sign of something deeper, this video is for you. By the end of it, you'll understand the subtle, powerful ways a man shows he's serious without ever rushing love. You'll learn to read the signs, appreciate his patience, and recognize that sometimes waiting isn't hesitation, it's a sign of true commitment. Are you ready to uncover these 15 signs he's afraid to rush love and finally see the intentions behind his actions? Let's dive in. 1. He takes his time before making commitments. When a man is afraid to rush love, one of the clearest signs is that he moves carefully when it comes to commitment. He doesn't dive into labels or promises hastily because he values the stability and longevity of a relationship over fleeting emotions. Taking time allows him to fully understand both himself and his partner before making a serious decision. He wants to be sure that the feelings he has are genuine, that the compatibility is real, and that any future steps are built on trust and emotional security. This doesn't mean he's indifferent. In fact, it shows a level of respect and seriousness. He may spend weeks or even months observing patterns, learning about your habits, and gauging emotional connection. He's not afraid of love, but he is cautious because he knows rushing could hurt both of you. His patience is a sign of emotional maturity, showing that he values quality over speed. While some people mistake this for disinterest, it's actually a strong indicator that he's deeply invested and wants the relationship to grow naturally. 2. He prefers deep conversations over small talk. Another sign he's cautious with love is his preference for meaningful conversations. Instead of engaging in casual or superficial chit-chat, he seeks topics that reveal your values, dreams, fears, and life goals. This approach helps him build a strong emotional bond without jumping straight into physical or impulsive aspects of the relationship. Deep conversations allow him to understand your personality on a core level, which is essential before he commits fully. He may ask about your childhood, your ambitions, or even your emotional challenges, not out of nosiness, but to assess compatibility and emotional alignment. This doesn't happen all at once. He eases into deeper topics gradually, respecting your pace and comfort. By prioritizing emotional intimacy over small talk, he signals that he's not just interested in a fleeting connection. His desire for depth demonstrates patience, showing that he wants the foundation of love to be solid and enduring. 3. He observes your reactions carefully. When a man is cautious about rushing into love, he often becomes highly observant. He notices how you react to certain situations, how you treat others, and how you handle emotions. These observations help him gauge your character, your emotional availability, and your compatibility with him in the long term. He might watch how you respond to stress, compliments, or disagreements, paying attention to subtle cues like body language, tone, and behavior. This careful observation isn't about manipulation. It's about understanding whether the relationship has the potential to thrive. By taking note of your reactions, he ensures that when he does express his feelings or take a bigger step, it will be the right time and setting. It's a silent but powerful way of building trust and preparing for a love that is stable, thoughtful, and meaningful. 4. He avoids jumping into physical intimacy quickly. A man who's afraid to rush love will naturally be cautious about physical intimacy. He understands that physical closeness is deeply tied to emotional trust and commitment, so he doesn't move too fast just because of attraction. Instead, he focuses on building a strong emotional connection first. This means he respects your boundaries, takes cues from your comfort level, and prioritizes emotional safety over immediate gratification. He knows that rushing intimacy can complicate feelings, create misunderstandings, and potentially hurt the relationship in the long run. By waiting, he demonstrates self-control and patience, showing that he values the relationship more than momentary desires. His actions are intentional, aiming to ensure that when intimacy does happen, it's meaningful, mutual, and grounded in trust. This restraint signals that he's genuinely interested in a lasting connection rather than a temporary fling. Over time, this careful approach builds a sense of security and respect, which is a hallmark of a man who's serious about love. 5. He asks thoughtful questions about your future. When a man is hesitant to rush love, one way he expresses interest is by asking questions about your future. He's not just curious about your day-to-day life. He wants to understand your goals, dreams, and long-term plans. By doing so, he can see if your paths align and whether a potential relationship would have room to grow. These questions often go beyond casual conversation. They explore topics like career ambitions, family expectations, lifestyle preferences, and personal values. He's thinking ahead, not in a controlling way, but to ensure that any emotional investment he makes is wise and sustainable. This careful curiosity demonstrates that he's taking the relationship seriously, considering not just the present but also how your lives could intertwine in the future. His approach shows thoughtfulness, patience, and maturity, signaling that he's committed to building something meaningful rather than jumping into uncertainty. 6. He waits before introducing you to close friends or family. Another clear sign of a man afraid to rush love is that he waits before introducing you to his inner circle. He understands that bringing someone into his personal life is a serious step, reflecting trust, emotional investment, and long-term intentions. Introducing you too soon might feel forced or risky, both for him and for you, so he prefers to observe how the relationship develops first. This period allows him to assess compatibility, build mutual respect, and ensure that he's ready for a deeper commitment. It also gives him time to prepare friends or family, so the introduction is smooth and meaningful. By waiting, he demonstrates patience and responsibility, indicating that he's serious about the relationship and doesn't want to take unnecessary risks with either your feelings or his own. This careful approach often leads to stronger bonds and a more stable foundation for love. 7. He communicates consistently but calmly. A man who's afraid to rush love understands the importance of steady and thoughtful communication. He doesn't bombard you with messages or overwhelming declarations, but he maintains a consistent presence in your life. This shows reliability without creating pressure. His calm approach means that every message, call, or interaction carries purpose. He wants to maintain connection without forcing things prematurely. He listens attentively, responds thoughtfully, and chooses words that reflect patience and understanding rather than urgency. This type of communication signals emotional stability, as he prioritizes quality over quantity. By keeping a balanced approach, he builds trust and reassures you that his intentions are genuine. He values connection, but he doesn't equate constant contact with love. Instead, he allows space for the relationship to develop naturally. His consistency, paired with calmness, is a silent promise that is willing to invest time and energy in a measured, meaningful way. This careful communication style is a hallmark of someone who wants a lasting relationship rather than a fleeting romance. 8. He reflects on past relationships before moving forward. One of the clearest signs a man avoids rushing love is that he takes time to reflect on his past relationships. He analyzes what went wrong, what he learned, and how he can grow emotionally before committing again. This reflection isn't about dwelling on mistakes. It's about self-awareness and ensuring he doesn't repeat patterns that could harm a future connection. By understanding his past, he approaches new relationships with a clearer perspective and better emotional intelligence. He considers not just what he wants, but how he can contribute positively to a relationship. This thoughtful introspection signals maturity, showing that he values healthy dynamics and emotional stability over impulsive romance. It also indicates that he's serious about making sure the relationship is grounded in respect, understanding, and mutual growth. 9. He shows patience in resolving conflicts. A man who's cautious about rushing love demonstrates patience when disagreements arise. Instead of reacting impulsively or letting anger take control, he approaches conflicts with calmness and a desire to understand. He listens actively, seeks compromise, and ensures that solutions benefit both partners rather than being self-centered. This patience shows that he values the relationship more than winning arguments or proving a point. It also reflects emotional maturity, as he understands that true love requires compromise, empathy, and time to resolve differences. By handling conflicts thoughtfully, he builds trust and reassures you that he's in it for the long term. His careful approach to disagreements is a subtle but powerful sign that he's serious about creating a stable and enduring bond. 10. He encourages building emotional connection first. A man who's afraid to rush love prioritizes emotional intimacy above all else. He understands that a relationship built on a strong emotional foundation is far more likely to succeed than one based solely on physical attraction or instant chemistry. Instead of pushing for immediate closeness, he takes the time to truly understand your thoughts, feelings, and experiences. He shares his own vulnerabilities gradually, creating a safe space where both of you can be authentic. By encouraging this emotional connection first, he ensures that the bond grows naturally and meaningfully. This approach reflects patience and maturity. He's willing to invest time in understanding you deeply before moving to the next stages of the relationship. His actions show that he values the depth of the connection over the speed of progression, and is intent on building a partnership that can withstand challenges. 11. He values quality time over quantity. Another sign he's cautious with love is that he focuses on the quality of time spent together rather than the sheer number of interactions. He prefers meaningful, engaging moments, conversations that reveal personalities, shared experiences that create lasting memories, and activities that strengthen the bond, over simply being physically present all the time. This reflects intentionality and respect for the pace of the relationship. He doesn't overwhelm you with constant contact, but when he is with you, it's focused, attentive, and deliberate. By valuing quality over quantity, he signals that is invested in building a meaningful, lasting connection, not a rushed or superficial romance. 12. He avoids making hasty promises. A man who's afraid to rush love avoids making promises he may not be ready to keep. He understands that commitment carries responsibility, and rushing into vows or assurances can create unrealistic expectations and future disappointments. Instead, he communicates his intentions thoughtfully, ensuring that any commitment is genuine and sustainable. He prefers to show his reliability through consistent actions rather than verbal promises alone. By taking this careful approach, he demonstrates maturity, patience, and respect for both your feelings and the relationship itself. His restraint indicates that he's serious about love and is focused on creating a stable, trustworthy foundation. 13. He watches for signs that you're ready too. A man who's cautious about rushing love doesn't only consider his own feelings. He carefully observes how ready you are for the relationship to progress. He notices subtle cues in your words, actions, and body language to understand your emotional availability. He's sensitive to your pace and doesn't want to pressure you into steps you're not comfortable with, whether it's deeper conversations, physical intimacy, or introducing you to his close circle. By paying attention to these signals, he ensures that both partners move forward in harmony. This approach shows emotional intelligence, respect, and empathy as he prioritizes mutual readiness over personal desire. Waiting for signs that you're ready to demonstrates patience and maturity, and it reflects his commitment to building a relationship that feels safe, balanced, and sustainable for both of you. 14. He prefers stability over spontaneous decisions. A man who prefers stability over spontaneous decisions isn't boring, fearful, or emotionally distant. He is intentional. His choices are guided by foresight rather than impulse. While spontaneous people often chase excitement in the moment, this man measures the impact of his actions before taking them. He values consistency, emotional safety, and long-term outcomes over short-lived thrills. In relationships, this preference shows up in subtle but powerful ways. He doesn't rush into declarations, commitments, or big changes just because emotions are intense in the moment. Instead, he observes, evaluates, and builds gradually. He wants to know that what he's creating will last. For him, love is not a spark that burns fast. It's a flame that needs structure, protection, and time to grow. This kind of man often plans ahead. He thinks about financial security, emotional balance, and future responsibilities. When he makes a decision, it's not because he felt like it that day, but because he's thought it through from multiple angles. That doesn't mean he lacks passion. It means his passion is disciplined. He wants excitement that doesn't destroy peace. Emotionally, he offers predictability. You know where you stand with him because his behavior doesn't swing wildly based on mood. One day he isn't overly affectionate and distant the next. His steadiness becomes a source of comfort, especially in a world that often feels chaotic and uncertain. He may not surprise you with sudden trips or dramatic gestures, but he surprises you with reliability, showing up when it matters most. People sometimes misinterpret his caution as hesitation or lack of interest. In reality, he simply refuses to gamble with people's emotions. He understands that spontaneous decisions can feel romantic, but they can also lead to regret. Stability, for him, is an expression of respect for you, for himself, and for the relationship. In the long run, a man like this creates a sense of emotional safety. His love doesn't feel like a roller coaster. It feels like solid ground. And for those who value peace, trust, and consistency, that stability becomes far more attractive than unpredictability. 15. He demonstrates commitment slowly but surely. A man who demonstrates commitment slowly but surely believes that real commitment is proven through actions over time, not rushed promises. He doesn't fall into love overnight, and he doesn't offer loyalty casually. When he commits, it's because he has decided, not because he was overwhelmed by temporary emotion. At first, his pace might feel slow. He may take time before labeling the relationship, before making future plans, or before integrating you deeply into his life. But during that time, he is paying attention. He's watching how you handle stress, communication, disagreements, and everyday life. He wants to be sure that what he's committing to is real, healthy, and sustainable. His commitment grows in layers. First, he shows consistency, regular communication, dependable presence, and emotional availability. Then he shows priority, adjusting his time, energy, and routines to include you. Finally, he shows responsibility, protecting the relationship, defending it when necessary, and making choices that consider us instead of just me. This kind of commitment isn't flashy. He may not flood you with early grand gestures or dramatic confessions. Instead, he proves himself quietly. He remembers what matters to you. He follows through on what he says. He stays when things get uncomfortable rather than disappearing when emotions become complicated. Importantly, his slow commitment is rooted in seriousness, not fear. He understands that commitment is not just about love. It's about responsibility, accountability, and long-term effort. He doesn't want to promise what he can't maintain. So when he finally commits, it carries weight. Over time, you realize something powerful is not going anywhere. His loyalty isn't loud, but it's deep. He doesn't test boundaries or keep one foot out the door. He invests steadily, building trust brick by brick. And because of that, his commitment feels secure rather than fragile. When a man like this chooses you fully, it's not because you rushed him or pressured him. It's because he knows. And once he knows, his commitment becomes unwavering. Slow doesn't mean weak. In this case, slow means strong, deliberate, and built to last.